New Zealand, a land known for its breathtaking landscapes, friendly people, and peaceful reputation. To the world, it looks like paradise, rolling green hills, crystal-clear lakes, and a calm society untouched by chaos. But behind this beautiful image lies another truth, a truth hidden beneath centuries of silence, a truth wrapped in darkness. Because New Zealand isn't just mountains and sheep, it's also a country with a hidden past, a past filled with war, betrayal, and secrets few talk about. The clean image you see is a mask, and behind it is something far more disturbing. Part 2. The Hidden Wars of Aotearoa. Long before it was called New Zealand, the land was known as Aotearoa. It was home to the Maori people who lived in harmony with the land for centuries. But everything changed when the British arrived. In 1840, the Treaty of Waitangi was signed, an agreement between Maori leaders and the British Crown. It promised peace, protection, and shared control of the land. But the reality was very different. The treaty was manipulated, the promises were broken, and war soon followed. Between 1845 and 1872, New Zealand was torn apart by the New Zealand Wars, bloody conflicts between the Crown and various Maori tribes. Villages were burned, families were displaced. More than 4 million acres of Maori land were taken. These wars were not a side note in history. They were central to how modern New Zealand was formed. Yet for generations, they were hidden from school books, brushed aside, ignored. A nation built on conflict pretended it was built on peace. And the silence was deliberate. Part 3. Antarctica, Secrets, and Flight 901. New Zealand's location made it a strategic partner for the United States during the Cold War. In 1955, Operation Deep Freeze began. It was presented as a scientific mission to Antarctica, but many believe it was more than that. The U.S. Air Force used Christchurch as a military base. Nuclear-capable aircraft came and went. Surveillance missions were launched from Kiwi soil, yet most New Zealanders had no idea what was happening. Then, in 1979, tragedy struck. Air New Zealand Flight 911 was on a sightseeing trip over Antarctica. It never returned. The plane crashed into Mount Erebus, killing all 257 people on board. The official story was pilot error, but internal investigations later revealed something darker. Flight coordinates had been secretly changed. Air New Zealand covered up key evidence. For years, families were denied the truth. The government protected reputations instead of revealing facts. In the end, justice was delayed and trust was shattered. The crash was a national tragedy. But the cover-up? That was the real crime. Part 4. The Aramono Massacre. In 1990, the illusion of safety in New Zealand was shattered. In the quiet coastal town of Aramoa, a man named David Gray snapped. Armed with military-style weapons, he went on a rampage, killing 13 people, including children. The event shocked the entire country, but it also exposed something deeper. Gray had legally owned a large collection of firearms. There were no strong gun control laws, no proper monitoring. The police were unprepared, and no one had seen it coming. After the massacre, the government introduced new laws, but many believe it wasn't enough. There was a sense that the system had failed, and that those in charge had turned a blind eye for too long. The truth is, Aramoa showed how fragile the peace really was. It showed how quickly paradise could turn into a nightmare. Part 5. The Children the State Forgot. One of the darkest chapters in New Zealand's history lies in its treatment of children in state care. From the 1950s to the 1990s, thousands of vulnerable children were placed into government-run institutions, foster homes, and orphanages. Many of them were Maori. Many came from broken homes or poor communities, and many were abused, physically, emotionally, and sexually. For decades, these stories were buried. Victims who spoke out were ignored. Abusers were protected, files disappeared, apologies were delayed. The public was kept in the dark. In 2018, after intense pressure, a Royal Commission of Inquiry was launched to investigate abuse in state care. The stories that emerged were horrifying. Children locked in closets, beaten until they bled, passed between abusers like property, and all of it done under the government's watch. The inquiry is ongoing, but the damage has already been done. Generations of children were lost, their pain silenced for decades, their voices ignored, and the country that claimed to care for its people turned away. Part 6: The Green Illusion. New Zealand brands itself as clean and green. Its natural beauty is used in movies, tourism ads, and global promotions, but the truth is far from perfect. The country has some of the worst freshwater pollution in the developed world. Rivers once safe for swimming are now filled with waste. Native species are dying, and the cause? Industrial dairy farming. To support its billion-dollar dairy industry, New Zealand uses massive amounts of land and water. Cows produce more waste than the country's human population. That waste ends up in rivers, lakes, and groundwater. Environmental groups have tried to raise the alarm, but whistleblowers are often silenced. Laws protect corporations, and the government continues to promote the green image, despite the growing environmental crisis. What the world sees is not the full truth. Behind the postcard landscapes is an ecological emergency, one that's growing worse every year. Part 7: Spying in Silence. New Zealand may seem far from global conflict, but it plays a quiet role in international surveillance. It is part of the Five Eyes Alliance alongside the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada. This alliance shares intelligence, monitors communications, and runs large-scale digital surveillance programs. Most New Zealanders have no idea how deep the connection goes. In 2012, the case of Kim.com brought this secret world into the spotlight. .com, a German-Finnish entrepreneur living in Auckland, was raided by armed police in cooperation with U.S. authorities. It was later revealed that the GCSB, New Zealand's intelligence agency, had illegally spied on him. Public outrage followed. Laws were reviewed. But the incident showed something chilling. New Zealand's sovereignty could be compromised, and its citizens could be spied on without warning. This wasn't an isolated case. Over the years, reports have surfaced of mass data collection, foreign cooperation, and quiet surveillance, all while the public remained in the dark. Part 8: The Ongoing Maori Struggle. Despite being the indigenous people of New Zealand, Maori continue to face systemic inequality. They make up only around 16% of the population, but over 50% of the prison population. They suffer higher rates of poverty, unemployment, and health issues. Their lands were stolen, their language was nearly lost, and even today, many are still fighting to reclaim what was taken. Maori communities have demanded justice for years. Some progress has been made, settlements, apologies, and symbolic gestures, but deep issues remain. Racism still exists. Disparities in education and housing still divide. And for many Maori, the system still feels rigged against them. The dark truth is this: Aotearoa was taken, and while the wounds are no longer bleeding, they are far from healed. Beneath the surface of New Zealand's calm face lies a people still searching for true justice. Part 9: What They Don't Want You to See. New Zealand is beautiful, peaceful, welcoming, but that's not the full story. The country has built a reputation on silence. It avoids scandal by hiding it. It delays justice with apologies, and it sells a story that's easier to believe than the truth. From colonial wars to environmental collapse, from child abuse to mass surveillance, from land theft to silent suffering, these are not stories from the past. They are part of New Zealand's living history. And while the world continues to see the beauty, it's time someone looked at the shadows. The secrets of New Zealand are not just whispers of history, they are the truths buried under generations of silence. And now they are rising. Not to ruin the country, but to make it whole, because no nation is perfect, and no silence lasts forever. New Zealand is not the paradise you think it is. It is a land of beauty and buried truth. And maybe that's the most dangerous kind of place.